This is not a drill. This is not a coincidence. This is the moment you've been waiting for, even if you didn't know it. Something has happened. Something big. Something that has shaken this person to their core and made them realize that they can't keep living with what they did. The walls they've been hiding behind have crumbled. The excuses they've been making have run out. And now they're rushing to your door to make things right. I know that might sound dramatic. I know you might be thinking, I've heard this before. They've said they'd change before. Why would this time be any different? But let me tell you what I'm seeing. This isn't the same energy. This isn't the same person who made empty promises and then disappeared. Something has fundamentally shifted, and they're coming to you not because they want something from you, but because they can't live with themselves if they don't at least try to fix what they broke. Let me paint you a picture of what's been happening on their side. They've been going through a crisis, not a small one, not something they could brush off or ignore, something that forced them to look in the mirror and see exactly who they've been and what they've done, and they didn't like what they saw. Maybe they lost something important. Maybe someone called them out on their behavior. Maybe they had a moment of clarity that cut through all the noise and showed them the truth. Whatever it was, it hit them hard. And it's changed the way they see everything. Now they're sitting with the weight of their actions. They're replaying every moment they hurt you, every word they said that they can't take back, every time they chose their pride over your feelings. And it's eating them alive. They're not just sorry, they're devastated. They're ashamed. They're realizing that they could have lost you forever. And that thought is more terrifying than anything else they've ever faced. This shit has hit the fan. Whatever they were trying to hide, whatever they were trying to avoid, whatever they were running from, it's all caught up with them. And now they have no choice but to face it. And facing it means facing you. They're rushing to your door. Not walking, rushing. They can't get to you fast enough because every moment they wait is another moment they have to sit with their guilt. Another moment they have to imagine you moving on without them. Another moment they have to wonder if they've already lost you for good. This apology isn't going to be half-hearted. It's not going to be the kind of apology that sounds more like an excuse. It's going to be raw. It's going to be honest. It's going to be the kind of apology that comes from someone who has finally realized that they can't fix anything by pretending nothing happened. They're going to admit what they did. They're going to acknowledge how it affected you. They're going to take full responsibility without deflecting or blaming anyone else. And they're going to tell you, probably through tears, that they would do anything to make it right. Now, let me talk about what this means for you, because this is a lot to process. Someone who hurt you is showing up at your door, and you're supposed to know what to do with that. It's overwhelming. It's confusing. It's bringing up all kinds of emotions that you thought you'd buried. You might feel angry. You might feel relieved. You might feel hopeful. You might feel skeptical. You might feel all of these things at once. And that's okay. There's no right way to feel right now. There's only your way. But I want to give you some perspective. This person is coming to you because they've realized that you matter more than their pride. You matter more than their excuses. You matter more than the version of themselves they've been trying to protect. That's huge. That's not something they would do if they didn't genuinely care. They're also coming to you because they've realized that they can't move forward without making things right with you. You're not just someone they hurt and moved on from. You're someone they carry with them everywhere they go. And they can't keep carrying that weight. Now, let's talk about what happens when they arrive, because it's going to be intense. They're going to be emotional. They might not have all the right words. They might stumble and struggle to express what they're feeling, but their intention will be clear. They came to make things right. Your response is yours to choose. You can let them in. You can listen to what they have to say. You can hear them out and then decide how you want to proceed. Or you can keep the door closed. You can tell them you're not ready to talk. You can protect your space until you feel ready to engage. There's no right or wrong answer here. There's only what's right for you, and you get to decide that. I want you to think about something. This person is coming to you in a moment of crisis. They're not coming because they want to manipulate you or play games. They're coming because they genuinely can't live with themselves anymore. That's a vulnerability that takes courage, and it deserves to be acknowledged, even if you're not ready to forgive. But I also want to remind you that forgiveness doesn't mean letting them back in. It doesn't mean giving them another chance. It doesn't mean pretending the past didn't happen. It just means releasing the hold that the hurt has on you. It's a gift you give yourself, not something you owe them. So when they show up, you get to set the terms. You get to decide how much access they have to your heart. You get to decide if they've earned the privilege of being in your life again. And if they haven't, you get to tell them that. I'm also sensing that there might be others involved in this situation, friends, family, maybe even coworkers who have been watching this unfold, and some of them might have opinions about what you should do. Some of them might tell you to forgive, some might tell you to walk away, but their opinions don't matter. This is your life, your heart, your choice. What I'm seeing is that this is a turning point. This moment, when they show up at your door, is going to determine the course of everything that follows. If you're open to it, if you're willing to have the hard conversations, there's a chance to rebuild something stronger than what was broken. But if you're not, if the trust is too damaged, then this is also a chance to close this chapter with clarity. Either way, you're going to be okay. You've survived the worst of it already. You've survived the silence. You've survived the confusion. You've survived the pain. Whatever happens next, you can handle it. And I want you to remember something. This person's apology doesn't define your worth. You were valuable before they showed up. You'll be valuable whether you forgive them or not. You don't need their validation to be whole. So if they show up, meet them from a place of strength, not from a place of desperation, not from a place of hope that things will go back to how they were, but from a place of knowing that you'll be fine no matter what happens. Take a breath, center yourself. You're in control here. They're coming to you, not the other way around. And that's a powerful shift. Let me also talk about what I see in the energy right now. There's a lot of chaos on their side, a lot of regret, a lot of urgency. They've been sitting with their mistakes and they finally reached a breaking point. They can't carry it anymore. They need to unburden themselves, and you're the only person who can help them do that. But here's the thing, that's not your job. You're not responsible for their healing. You're not responsible for making them feel better about what they did. You can listen, you can acknowledge, but you don't have to carry their guilt. That's theirs to carry and theirs to release. So when they come, don't feel pressured to make it easy for them. Don't feel like you have to comfort them. Let them do the work. Let them say what they need to say. And then when you're ready, you can decide how to respond. This is a huge moment. The shit has hit the fan and they're coming to clean up the mess. Whether that's the beginning of a new chapter or the end of an old one, it's a moment that matters. And you deserve to be on the other side of this. You deserve to be the one who gets to decide what happens next. So hold your ground. trust your intuition, and know that whatever you decide, you're going to be fine. Let me go even deeper into what's actually happening on their side, because I think it's important for you to understand the magnitude of this shift. This person didn't just wake up one day and decide to apologize. Something pushed them, something broke them open, and that something was the realization that they were about to lose you permanently. They've been having conversations in their head. They've been talking to themselves, trying to figure out how to fix this. They've been imagining what it would be like to see you again, to look you in the eyes and tell you the truth. And every time they imagine it, they feel sick with anxiety. But they also feel a sense of relief because finally they're going to stop running. There's been a lot of pride standing in their way. This person has always been the type to avoid vulnerability. They've always been the one who walks away first. They've always been the one who protects themselves by shutting people out. But all of that has changed now. They've realized that their pride has cost them everything, and they're ready to set it aside. They've also been influenced by something external. Maybe they saw you with someone else. Maybe they heard that you're moving on. Maybe they realized that you're not waiting around for them anymore. And that was the wake-up call they needed, because the thought of you being happy with someone else is unbearable to them. Now, let me talk about what you can expect when they come. They're going to be different, softer, more open. They might not be as articulate as they usually are. They might struggle to find the words, but their heart will be in the right place, and you'll be able to feel that. They're going to tell you things they've never told anyone. They're going to admit to their fears, their insecurities, their regrets. They're going to lay it all out on the table, and they're going to ask for your forgiveness, not because they expect it, but because they need to try. But here's something I want you to remember. An apology is not an eraser. It doesn't undo what happened. It doesn't make the pain disappear. It's just the first step. And after the apology comes the work, the consistent day in, day out work of rebuilding trust. So don't be swayed by just the words. Pay attention to what happens afterward. Let me also talk about the possibility that this apology might not be what you expected. Maybe you expected it to be grander. Maybe you expected it to be more detailed. Maybe you expected it to come with flowers or dramatic gestures. And if it doesn't, don't let that disappoint you. The most genuine apologies are often the simplest ones. They're the ones that come from a place of humility, not from a need to perform. And if the apology doesn't feel complete, you're allowed to ask for more. You're allowed to tell them that you need them to be more specific. You're allowed to tell them that you need more time. You're allowed to set the terms of this reconciliation. I'm also sensing that there's been a third party involved in this situation. Maybe someone else has been in their ear, influencing them, giving them bad advice. And now that they're coming to you, they're doing it against the advice of that third party. They're choosing you over that influence. And that's significant. But I also want to caution you about something. This apology might be followed by a period of awkwardness. After the big emotional moment, there might be a lull, a silence, a moment where neither of you knows what to say next. And that's okay. That's normal. It's the space where the real work begins. You might also find that you don't know how you feel. You might have spent so long convincing yourself that you were over it that now you're confused. And that's okay. Take your time. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. Let me also address the possibility that this person might not be completely honest. They might be coming with an apology that still has some defense in it. They might still be protecting themselves in some way. If you sense that, don't ignore it. Call it out. Ask them to be more honest. This is not a time for half-truths. But if they are honest, if they're truly coming with an open heart, then you have a choice to make, a big one, and I want to help you think through it. First, ask yourself if you still want to be with this person. Not the person they used to be, not the person you hope they would become, the person they are right now in this moment. Do you see a future with them? Can you imagine rebuilding with? Second, ask yourself if you trust them. Not if you trust that they won't hurt you again, because you can never guarantee that. But do you trust that they're being honest with you now? Do you trust that they're coming from a genuine place? Third, ask yourself if you're ready. Ready to do the work, ready to have the hard conversations, ready to be vulnerable again. If you're not ready, that's okay. You don't have to decide right away. And fourth, ask yourself what you need from them. What do you need them to do to rebuild trust? What do you need them to say or not say? What boundaries do you need to set? Be clear about these things before you let them back in. This is a moment of power for you. Not power over them, but power over your own life. You get to decide what happens next. And whatever you decide, it will be the right decision because it will come from a place of truth. Now, let me talk about what happens if you decide to let them back in. It won't be easy. There will be days when you're triggered, days when old wounds resurface, days when you question whether you made the right choice. That's all part of the process. Healing isn't linear, it takes time. And you both have to be patient with each other. But there will also be days of joy. Days when you look at them and remember why you fell for them in the first place. Days when you feel like everything was worth it. Days when the connection feels stronger than it ever did before. And if you decide not to let them back in, that's okay too. That's you choosing yourself. That's you saying that you deserve better than what they gave you. That's you protecting your peace. There's no shame in that. Either way, this apology is a gift. It's a gift of closure. It's a gift of clarity. It's a gift of knowing that you mattered enough to them for them to come back and try to make things right. So when they come, whether you open the door or not, know that you're doing what's best for you. And that's all that matters. The shit has hit the fan. The truth is coming out. And they're on their way to you right now. Be ready. I'll see you in the next reading.